This series deserves all the hype that it gets. Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because I'm going to be rounding up my experience reading the Chestnut Spring series. I have finally finished it up this month and I'm so excited to talk about it. I had such a blast with it and I can't wait to gush all about these characters and this universe. It was just so much fun. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more book content. I love reading romance, thriller, some historical fiction, and a couple other things in between. So make sure you stick around to hear more of my book recommendations, roundups, and all kinds of book mail. Before we dive into this series, I want to talk a little bit about the Elsie Silver universe. So there's always a lot of discourse about where you should get started. Personally, I started with the Gold Rush Ranch series, which is Elsie Silver's first series, and I highly recommend starting from there. A lot of people will say start with the Chestnut Spring series, some people are saying Rose Hill, but I genuinely think starting with the Gold Rush Ranch series is going to get you really acquainted with the universe because that's her first one, and from there are characters filtered throughout, so I think it's better that way so you get all the context before you're reading other stories. So that's what I recommend. That's what I did. I'm in a big group buddy read where we've been reading Elsie Silver books, and so next month we're starting Rose Hill, which I cannot wait for. But anyway, I just wanted to say that off the bat because this video will have spoilers for the books. So if you have not read this series yet, stop the video now, come back when you have, and gush all about these characters. And if you have read this series, stick around, let's have some fun. Also, before I dive into all these books, I have to show you this shirt I got. Listen, I am so obsessed with this series now. I had to get this cute shirt I saw on the TikTok shop. Oh my god, it's adorable. It's comfort colors, fits super nice, super cozy. I can't get enough. Like I said, I got it from the TikTok shop, so I'm gonna put a link in the description box where you can get it if you're interested. I can't get enough. I love it. Without further ado, let's dive into the series. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from the first book to the last book and discuss my experience reading it, and then give you all of my rankings for books, couples, and main characters. First up is Flawless. This story follows Rhett and Summer. Rhett is an Eaton, and the Eaton boys are a primary part of this series, but not all the main characters in the 5 books. There's only 3 of them. So this one follows Rhett, and he's the middle one. Let me tell you, this was such a perfect start to the series because as I was reading it, I got this feeling. I got this vibe. I can't describe it. It's hard. Well, I can, but it's still hard to describe and really grasp what I was feeling. But it was just this kind of yearning, humming throughout my body where I just felt so comfortable and craved this story in such a visceral way. I knew, I was like, wow, this is what everybody's talking about. This is what everybody means when they talk about how amazing this series is. I was like, I feel it, I get it, I understand it now. So the experience that I had with this book really kicked it off in a nice way. And I truly enjoyed these characters. I loved Summer and I loved Rhett. A lot of people don't really care for Rhett, and I can see why. He is a little bit childish, a little bit abrasive sometimes, kind of like an alpha hole. Not really though. I really wouldn't call him that, but some people get that vibe. I really enjoyed him. And I will say yeah, he could have used some character development in the book. And let me tell you, he did. He was such a better character by the end of the book than he was in the beginning. And there was such great character growth between both of them. I ate it up. I loved it so much. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. Next up is Heartless. Now, this book was so hyped up. I mean, I've been seeing people talk about this series for a while now, and I knew that this book was the most popular one for a lot of people. It was their favorite. And so I was very excited. Also, this one has Cade. He's another Eaton brother. He's the oldest, and it follows Willa. So Cade he's in the first book, and he's a grump, and I was so excited because I really enjoyed his grumpiness in the first book, so I could not wait to read his book. Unfortunately, I didn't care for this one as much as I did the other ones. This was the only book in the series where I didn't feel that vibe I was talking about earlier with Flawless. I didn't feel that. at all, like throughout the whole book. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, I didn't have that visceral feeling, that palpable feeling of like yearning for this book. I don't really know what it was. There are a couple things that I didn't care for as much with this book, even though I liked it and just didn't love it. Cade, I was expecting like more grumpiness with him, but instead it was kind of more like a whiny grump, which I didn't care for. And it's so weird because I feel like his book is the only time I really felt that way about him. Like throughout the rest of the series, like I enjoyed his grumpiness and I thought it was great and I liked his character, but when it was his book, I don't know, not good. And then let's talk about Willa. I didn't really like Willa. Listen, I like a female character who has like a strong head on her shoulders, where she's like sassy and a little bit like challenging, like challenging people and whatever. And that's kind of how she is, but I didn't like it with her. I felt like it came off more like bitchy than anything. I don't know. I didn't really care for her. And plus, like, honestly, her character didn't have any kind of development at all. There was like no depth to her. I kind of thought there was like gonna be something in there, but it fizzled out and it wasn't what I thought it was. There really wasn't any like way for her to grow. I don't know. It was odd. I just didn't care for it that much. I don't know. I will say too, like, it's a single dad, like nanny romance, and I don't really care for single dad romances all that much. Usually because the kids can be annoying. I mean, the kid in this one wasn't even annoying. I just don't know. This one just wasn't my favorite. Like I said, I ended up rating it 3 stars. Next up is Powerless. Oh my God, I loved this story. This was a friends to lovers that followed Jasper and Sloane. Jasper is like an honorary Eaton brother because he was like taken in by the family after his family kind of fell apart. So he was taken in by the Eatons and he joined the brothers like as like a teenager or something. And Sloane is the brother's cousin. So these two like were intertwined in their lives for a while and they maintained a friendship, but there was something more with both of them that they just never explored. Now listen, this was the book that made me realize just how much I like friends to lovers. I've read a couple in the past and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I really think I love this trope. And let me tell you why, because it's the tension. The tension in a friends to lovers is so palpable. It's like you can feel it. It's that, the tug back and forth of like, are we going to do anything about it or are we not? Oh my God. I loved it so much. I could not get enough of these two. They were so good for each other. They had this fantastic friendship that turned into this romance that was just beautiful. I could not get enough of these two. I adored them. I gave this one 5 stars. Next up is Reckless. Now let me tell you, I was a little weary going into this book because the two characters, Willow and Theo, are ones we'd met before in the series. Winter is Summer from Flawless's sister, and she was horrific. Winter was not a good person in the first book and in the other books as well. She was kind of a bitch. Her and Summer have the same dad, but different moms. They grew up together, but Winter's mom was like a wicked stepmother, and she really did not want these two to get along, so she was kind of ruining their relationship from the beginning. So that's kind of where their tension was. And Winter just took on this persona that she just was like not into Summer, like not wanting anything to do with her, being jealous because of her relationship with their dad and all this stuff. But let me tell you, I ended up really loving her in this book because she had such great character growth, and it was so good like seeing who she was in the rest of the series and then seeing who she turned into in this one. So well done. Winter definitely had the best character growth throughout the whole series. And Theo is like works with Rhett. They're both like bull riders, so like yeah, they work together. And I just did not see how these two characters could be together. I was like, I didn't see it. I was like, what? Like these two? Really? They have a book together? let me tell you, they shocked me. Shocked me so much. The trope in this one is secret baby, like accidental pregnancy. And when I tell you I had no idea, like I knew who the book was about. I did not know that that was the trope. So much so that I thought it was a plot twist. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And then I read the back of the book and I realized it wasn't a plot twist. It was literally the trope of the book. So I enjoyed that part of it where I was surprised and had no idea what was happening. It was done so well. Like the way these two grew together and the relationship they had, it was beautiful. And Theo, oh my God, he is like the perfect man, like truly. This one was fantastic. I gave this one 5 stars. And the last book is Hopeless. This one follows Bo, who is the youngest Eaton brother, and a girl named Bailey. Now, what was really cool about this book was that we saw Bo throughout the whole series. And the Bo that we see in Flawless is a completely different Bo than the one that we meet here. He is like in the military, and he had something tragic happen to him, which happened in the 3rd book, and he's dealing with the repercussions of what happened to him in this one. So it was so interesting to see who he was and who he turned into, which I think is really cool because, like, if somebody, even though these are like standalone, like in an interconnected series, I truly think you can't read this one as a standalone because you don't really get the depth of where he was before all this happened to him until you've read all the other books. I will say I liked this one, but I didn't love it. Like, I liked Bailey and Bo, but I wasn't like really invested in their romance with each other. Like, I thought they had a nice relationship, but it just, I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it. I just didn't feel that drawn to them. But I will say that I did feel those like palpable vibes that I talked about in Flawless. I felt it in Powerless and Reckless, like hardcore, but I did feel it in this one. So it wasn't quite as like, not bad, but it wasn't like quite lacking as much as Heartless. But I mean, I did enjoy it. I just sort of struggled rooting for Bo and Bailey. I will say that the way this ended and how everything wrapped up, it was such a beautiful way to end the series. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was just a great way to kind of end everything in a pretty little bow and know where everybody was and the whole story. It was a great way to end it. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. Now let's do some ranking. I'm gonna start by ranking the books on a whole. And then we'll go into couples and characters. We'll go from the bottom to my favorite. So obviously my least favorite, it was Heartless. It just missed the mark for me, not my fave. Then Hopeless, even though I really enjoyed like the vibe, I just couldn't get on board with the couple. Next is Flawless, the one that started it all, loved it. Now listen, these last two, it was really hard to choose from, but my second place one is Powerless. Gosh, I love this so freaking much. But as far as overall story goes, the number 1 spot goes to Reckless. This was just so beautiful. I loved this story. Now for couples, the ranking is like pretty much the same. On the bottom is Cade and Willa, Bo and Bailey, Rhett and Summer. And then for these last two, so like I said, like Reckless was my favorite story overall, just like the whole like story bit of it. But as far as like strictly the couples go, my second place goes to Theo and Winter. But my top spot has to be Jasper and Sloane. I just loved these two together and their relationship. Like it did something to me like so viscerally. I loved them so much. Now let's go over my ranking for male main characters. And I kind of did this as like from the whole of the series who like I enjoyed the most or, you know, whatever. So yeah, on the bottom for me is Bo. Like I honestly didn't care for Bo even in the beginning. Like he just wasn't my favorite. And then, I mean, I didn't really care for him too much in his own story. Like just overall, not my fave. And then is Cade. Like I said, like I really enjoyed Cade throughout the other books in the series. Like I loved him, but it was just his book that just fell short for me. Next we have Rhett. Really enjoyed him. It's so funny because like this whole series is like very much about the Eaton brothers, but my top two are not Eaton brothers. Next we have Jasper. Jasper, God, I love him. And last is Theo. Like I said, he is like the perfect man. He was just, oh my God, so funny, so thoughtful, so, oh my God, the best. And now my ranking for female main characters. On the bottom, it's gotta be Willa. I was like, throughout the whole series, like, I just didn't really care for her. She kind of gave me like the pick-me-girl vibes, like sort of, maybe not even pick-me-girl, maybe that's not the right way to say it, but do you know those girls who like, they lean on them being like blunt, and they're just like, oh, well, that's just who I am. I'm just like a blunt person. But really, it's kind of bitchy. That's kind of the vibes I got from Willa. And it's not even that she was outright bitchy, but it was just the vibe behind it. I was like, I don't like girls like that, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I just wasn't a fan of her like throughout the series in that way. I will say that in Hopeless, there were a couple things that happened where that bluntness kind of like helped in a way in a certain situation. So I did appreciate that, but overall, not my fave. Next is Bailey. I don't know, she was all right. I just don't really have much to say about her, you know. Next is Winter. While I do think that she had the best character growth of any character in the series, throughout it, I did not like her. Like in the beginning especially, she was the worst, just the worst. I mean, I love where she ended up. She really ended up a fantastic person, a great mother, but yeah, that part in the beginning, no. Next is Sloane. I really loved Sloane. I thought she was so sweet and kind, and like she struggled with people pleasing, which is something I really relate to. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And yeah, I loved her. Overall, my favorite character in the series has to go to Summer. I loved Summer in her book, but also throughout the rest of the series. She is such a welcoming person, so kind, such a like good head on her shoulders, and just there for people. And I think that her being the first female main character to kick off the series, it could not have been a better choice, because she really ties everybody together. Like, I know this book series is very focused on the Eaton family, but I think Summer is the one who is like the anchor of the whole series. She just is, she's incredible. She like fit into every single story perfectly. I loved her. I relate to her so much. I just thought she did such a great job of being that anchor for this whole family, all of these people, the found family, everything. She's just, God, I love her. Well, there you have it. All of my thoughts on the Chestnut Spring series. Oh God, I loved it. I loved it so much. It lived up to the hype for me. It's hard to like know if something really is going to be as good as everybody says it is. And sometimes we get let down, but this series, wow, it was totally worth it. I get why it's so hyped up. And even though there were books like I didn't like as much as other ones, I still had a really great time. I recommend everybody read this series. It was such a fun one to do. In the comments, I want to know all about your thoughts on the Chestnut Spring series. Did you agree with me on some things? Disagree with me on others? I want to know who your favorite characters are, which books were your favorite. Like, I want to know all of it. And like I said, I'm starting the Rose Hill series next month, and I cannot wait. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.